And
what does CC stand for?
The plot of land that it came from.
CC?
The sixth plot of land.
But this definitely has like that Belgian
Way to skirt
sugar.
the question.
No, I'm looking it up. I'm continuing while I look it up.
Clark so much sometimes.
This week we're drinking Trappist beers. This is episode 103 of the Malting Hour.
What's the haps on the hops? Got yeast, that's beast. This the Molten Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Molten Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Welcome to the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Gold, joined always with
Brandon Winnington.
and to my left,
Danny Polly.
gentlemen, we're back. We're back together in the same room and drinking together.
We miss you, Clark. Yeah. Or I miss you, Clark.
Do we?
I miss Clark.
Do we miss Clark?
Yeah, I miss Clark. I don't know. Do you miss Clark, Brandon?
I miss having somebody that's going to give us answers to things when we have questions, but... Oh, speaking of Clark, though, didn't he get a new microphone for Christmas?
He did. So next time he's on.
So, that being said, he could probably sit at the bar now.
Ooh, that's right. No, I like him at his table. You guys, how was...
So do I. It's more convenient. It gives us more space.
It's true. How are the holidays, guys? How was it? Because, it's February now. By the way, it's my birthday today.
Did we record... The last time we recorded, was it
Tony.
before Christmas? It was after Christmas, right?
Yeah, it was after Christmas, around New Year's, right before New Year's. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember when
I think
we
so.
did this.
I don't know. It's a long
Knocked
time
out a
ago.
couple of malted minis.
One night, got 3 of them in, and we also had the Howard Street episode in January. But this is the first time since December that we're together recording, and let's do it. Brandon, this particular beer style I feel like is very near and dear to your heart. Maybe not so much the Trappist part, but Belgian beers.
Well, so
love monk beers.
My love for monks just carries over to
He
beers.
does have a monk holding like a beer stein tattoo on his left butt cheek.
I had to think about that when you were describing it before it became a tattoo. I was like, do I have a monk thing somewhere? I was like, maybe I do.
I gave you the tattoo.
Yeah, so specifically we are talking about, we're going to be drinking a couple of Trappist Belgian brews, specifically from Belgium. There are some Trappist breweries.
No, there isn't. Oh, no, that's right. No,
Is
they're all
it-
specifically Trappist.
Yeah.
breweries. Monks made them.
A couple of, there's a good lot that I got that are from Belgium.
Yes.
And I think, I don't even think the Trappist style, I don't know if that's, it's not specific to Belgium, and I don't know if that's necessarily where it started.
It actually got its
Is it
name.
France?
No, it was La Trappe.
Well-
La Trappe, like that, because all the
Is that Trappist from the Trap?
Yeah.
We're not talking
Okay.
about SoundCloud music, right? Trap.
Right.
Got it. Okay, make sure.
Which is kind of funny. I almost went and grabbed. There's a liquor store that has some La Trappe, like their quad from 2015.
Ooh.
And it's a really good quad. There's several different, batches of it, and every time I've had it, it's been fantastic. So I was going to grab that. But I walked into our local big box liquor store, and it had literally all of these. And one of them is one of my favorites, but I don't think we're going to drink that today. We'll probably save that for another time. That being said, I think we said it. Yeah, but we're drinking some Trappist ales.
Yeah. I'm excited. And what sparked this, number one, we needed an episode, and what sparked this was that something happened. Some monks. There are no more monks. No new monks.
So I think is it in Belgium?
that
They
from my
said in Belgium
information?
the last monks have finally left.
Yeah.
The monastery. So the monastery locations.
You can say it, Dan. It's okay.
Yeah.
Jump over. We talk over each other.
Well, no, I was going to say, so Achel, which is one of the ones that we have here in 2021?
I believe 2021. 2021.
But they, and actually just read that they actually just sold to somebody they lost the Trappist beer, lost its recognition in 2023, and it says it's sold to a private person. So I didn't know. I didn't even read that earlier.
So the beers, these specific beers are still going to be made. It's just they can't. They're no longer.
They can't have a Trappist name because
Monks are not
they've
making
gone private.
Yeah. Well, it has to be because with Achel specifically, there has to be monks either brewing or overseeing, and the last like 2 monks that were left at Achel, which is like the smallest of all the Belgian monasteries that brewed beer and were Trappist, they like retired and moved to a different one, and so like because they weren't there overseeing, they weren't allowed to be called that anymore, even though they were still going to be brewing the beer. And I think that the monks even said like they're still going to be like looking after it, but because they're not living within the 4 walls of the monastery, it can't be Trappist.
Does looking after it mean that they're just going to be drinking a bunch of it and being like, yep, still tastes like beer?
That's what we do here on this podcast. We're just looking after these beers to make sure they have a good home, our bellies.
Speaking of beer, which one are we going to start with?
Dan, why don't you go? Why don't you choose?
Do you want to start with the Achel? Let's
do that since you're talking about it.
Yeah. So this has like a very long history. It is on the border, I believe, of the Netherlands and Belgium. But it had I did a little research today on it, and I don't remember everything, so I'm not going to be able to quote everything. But it was talking about how it's like the smallest of the monasteries, and it was on the border, I believe, of the Netherlands and Belgium. And then when like during German occupation, they've long story short, they had to close a bunch of times and then reopen. But during the German occupation, during the World Wars, the Belgian half was destroyed, but the Dutch half still stood because they didn't want to disrupt the Dutch, because the Dutch were neutral in the war.
Oh,
so they like destroyed half of it. And then the Germans ended up they had copper tanks in there, or tanks as in like brewing vessels, and the Germans stole the copper and used it to build stuff for the war. So they lost their thing. And a story I have for this leading to the other beers.
I thought that was your story.
That is the story. Long story.
Carry on.
So whenever they were going to go public again, so they started brewing again in like the 60s, I believe it was, but then in the 2000s they decided, it was maybe 98, early 2000s, they decided to go more commercial, and they had brewers from Westmalle and from Rochefort come in and help them develop their recipes. So
the other breweries were trying.
2 of the other breweries were going to try. So this maybe, I don't know, maybe this is a blonde beer, because they have a couple different ones, but maybe this was developed by 2 of the other breweries we have on the show.
Yeah, I do wish I would have grabbed the La Trappe. I was reading about...
Back to the goddamn La Trappe.
I was...
It's a trap.
I was reading about it.
reference.
And so they're still listed, I mean, according to their website, as an authentic Trappist beer. And I didn't know that they're... I'm very familiar with it because just... I got introduced to them because the beer rep at Fishman's, like, he handled a lot of the Belgian beer, and so I knew that La Trappe had a location in Belgium, but it actually started, I think, in the Netherlands. They have a spot there, and that was their original location. The monks went from France and migrated to, like, some king's old, like, country ranch that he had, and they were just like, this looks cool, and they took it and like made it their monastery, and it's still there. Like, that's
also
dope.
King's Country Ranch sounds like a type of salad dressing. Just popped into my head. Just welcome to King's Country Ranch. What do you guys? This is my first time having this particular.
I think it's my first time too.
My first time too.
What do you guys think about it?
Does it say blonde beer on there? Okay.
So they have 2 of their main beers. Is a blonde beer. The other one is, I think it's like a dark Belgian, but go on. Sorry.
No. I mean, you're fine. I was literally, I just looked over. I'm like, this is blonde beer. The carbonation on this is interesting. I was not expecting it to have that kind of like seltzery tingle, and it's pleasant. And then it just makes me like, I'm curious about the other ones, specifically now, since like I literally when Tony and Dan came down here was the first time that I poured off some of my Belgian that I had made. Which, by the way, if I stick to my guns and I get Clark over here, I'm entering that into the National Homebrew Competition.
Pretty exciting. And we're going to make, by the way, Clark, we're going to need you to use your canner.
I already asked him.
Okay, good.
I gave him a heads up.
Good.
He's like, when do you need this by? I was like, end of February. It's like, oh, cool.
So they have a Brune. They have Achel. They're both 8%. They have the Blond and the Brune, which is the darker. It looks like more of like a traditional, like even like a barley wine almost, but with like crazy head.
Yeah, this has that like a lot of those notes in Belgian beers that I like. You know, it's bordering, to me, this borders on like a really, really strong Hefeweizen, teetering into like the Belgian world. Because I'm getting more like some banana peel. I'm getting, you know, some like clove.
Straight up banana peel?
Yeah. Well, banana, like whatever. So
we normally say like, you know, citrus peel. But
so clove, like there's definitely some clove I'm picking up on.
Yeah.
But I think to me still the most interesting thing is how they did the carbonation.
That's the first thing that stood out for me drinking this was how bubbly it was. And I'm glad you said seltzer because at first I thought like champagne bubbles, you know, how it's like a rush of, you know, a bunch of tiny bubbles. But these feel more like carbonated. Like carbonated water or seltzer bubbles.
I think these are mostly all going to be bottle conditioned also.
I think
so. It's probably going to add to that.
I think this, I may have said it in the past, I'm not a huge Belgian beer fan. I like Belgian quads. I think Belgian quads are delicious. And there's Brandon, your triple is really good, and we, you know, first episode that we did, we talked about Belgian triples. I have a place in my heart for them. It's just not a style. I'm like, oh, I really want to have a Belgian beer. This, on the other hand, I could drink this.
This is crazy drinkable for 8%.
Really, really good. Yeah, it does not come off as 8%. It's almost like refreshing.
Yeah, some Belgians are like syrupy and like you get the alcohol burn. Not getting that on.
No, and I feel like the carbonation for me is what's helping this 8% beer drink so easy.
Yeah, so this last time that I brewed the Belgian triple, I did a lot of reading about triples and just kind of like the style, and I didn't necessarily do much different than I had done last year. I still did I did the first wort hop editions, which I think definitely changed the profile on the entire beer.
Whatever you did with that this time, like I was telling you before we started, there is that, like, this has that background middle tongue bitterness to it. That's what your triple has. And last year's was just a little more sharp, which, again, not bad, but your batch this year is
well, and
much
this
better.
year, my original OG was still the same that it had been in years prior. But that thing fermented out a lot more. And so what I was reading about Belgians, though, is Belgians are supposed to be dry. Belgians, like, they're typically dry. And I'm getting that from this.
Absolutely. That was the other thing I wanted to say.
That dryness is coming through. And, like, when I had the... so when I was kegging the Belgian, I did pour a little bit off and I took a sip. And I was like, okay, that was the first time I had it. And I was like, there's that dryness. I was like, it was a lot more present. So years past, like the last 2 years I did it, I think the Belgian, that one clocked in about like 9.3, 9.4%. This time it was like 9.98.
It's almost 10% for...
What was crazy too is, so I didn't do much different. But I cold crashed it this time. I took the fermenter, I put it in the fridge, and I let it crash. And when it was dropping in temperature, it started fermenting again because I was using my tilt hydrometer.
So,
but it also could have been the temperature change too.
I was to say, and not only that, also when you moved it, you probably
stirred some stuff up.
Yeast, yeah.
Yeah, but like it literally went down like a couple more points, and it went from like 9.4 to 9.9. Which is fine. I was okay with that. And like I said, when I was trying it, there was that dryness, and that's like what I'm getting from here, and it makes sense. And I think when you get to the styles that are like the doubles to triples, the thing that I read was
triple doubles.
The sweetness that you get out of those beers from everything else that's in there overtakes the dryness. You'll still notice it, but it's not as like... It's not like drinking like a dry wine or a dry champagne type of thing. It's definitely, it's still dry, but the sweetness balances it kind of. And I think that happened with the triple that I did this time. So
yeah, I glad you brought up the dryness on this, because I feel like I said, that's what makes this so refreshing of a beer. especially at 8%, and with those little bubbles in there. I mean, I want to go grab some more of these. Drink this on a nice, warm spring day. You know what I mean, guys?
Yeah.
Spring.
When it's like 40 degrees and you're like, man, this is awesome.
I'm wearing shorts on Monday.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. How many
monks?
How many monks would you give this Brandon out of 5?
I'd go 4.5.
4.5 monks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just based on the style, like what I know about the Belgians in general, and
The people?
Yeah, good folks, them Belgians. Hey, maybe we'll get some Belgian listeners with this episode.
We have some.
I know. Maybe we'll get some more. It surprised me how much I liked this. Like, just being on the lighter side, but it's got everything that I want in, like...
I want to drink this all the time.
Yeah, it's got everything I want in a Belgian beer, and
8%.
it's not super heavy.
Getting fucked up all the time.
It's not super heavy, easy drinking. So, yeah, I'm like 4.5%, I think.
Dan?
I'm going to go 4.5 monks also because it's like that. It's got that, like, rare balance of complex yet super drinkable. Like, it's not... I mean, if you want to think about it, you can. If you don't have to think about it, but it's...
Yeah.
And when I saw Blond, I was kind of like, I don't like blonde ales, but I really dig this. It's the Belgian yeast for sure, but I dig it.
I'm in agreement with you too. I think 4.5. It could even go up to 4.6, 4.7-ish months.
Yeah.
Probably goes really good with some boiled peanuts.
Gross. I think it's a very... I think you're right. Like, it's a beer you can, like, sit there and analyze, but it's also a beer you can just crack open and drink. And I think it's a very approachable beer. You can
100%.
have just anybody try it, if you wanted to have someone.
Belgian gateway drug.
There you go. I don't know why you feel a drug, but yeah, it's a Belgian gateway beer.
I mean, especially for people that say they're not into Belgians, like people that are into blondes, people that like Hefeweizens. This is definitely it's a good representation of a light Belgian beer.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said,
I can also confirm it does go well with the boiled peanuts.
gross again.
Tony will stick with them.
I'm going to stick with the regular dry roasted peanuts because these boiled peanuts kind of they put off a tender, an undercooked bean.
I don't know what it is. Green cap.
Green cap. Hey,
Right.
it's another Dan one. We're going with 2 Dan beers right at the top.
Did not research at all, but I do know.
Planned it perfectly. None of my beers will be drank.
This is
I'm going to sneak in the Saison that I brought and be like, yeah, it's Trappist.
So I'm not probably gonna butcher this. It's TYNT, so Tynt Meadow. It's an English Trappist ale. So this is the only Trappist monastery that brews beer in England. And it is still, so it says it's a strong ale brewed by the monks of Mount St. Bernard Abbey, Charnwood Forest. And when I was reading about this, it was talking about how a lot of the beers, a lot of the Trappist beers traditionally are named after the region they're from. So like Westmalle is like an area and such and so on. But the Meadow,
What is the 10 named after?
this Rochefort, I think, is a area. I don't know. But Tynt Meadow, I guess, is like
Tynt Meadows?
the area around the monostery. So they wanted to
Sorry.
go with that. And it did say like this is like a beer, but it's a English style. So I'm interested to see how it is. And Brandon hasn't gotten the pour yet.
I know that, Dan.
I want to send a bottle of this to Tynt Meadows.
I want to,
look, dude.
I want to send a message to Tony send a text to Tony who didn't show up yet here, and let him know. Don't be nice to Dan. It doesn't matter. That's what I want to do. You know.
I'm just looking out for Brandon.
Why you gotta be so cruel?
Do you think that I wouldn't save enough for Brandon?
Also, I think
Fucking sidestep.
7.4%. And I was trying to decide. I'm gonna have one of you guys look at this. It almost looks like it's like
Can't read.
handwritten.
What?
Best by
need
date.
readers now.
Best by date is January 18th, 2024, and it looks like a guy like signed his name.
I need my bifocals. It does look like it was handwritten. Let me see. Yeah, it tastes like pen ink.
Brandon's licking the bottle.
I did not like the bottle.
He did.
Excuse me.
Tony, what's your thoughts on this one?
It's kind of sweet. Getting the sweetness to it.
I was gonna say it's almost like a lighter barley wine that's like fruitier to me.
Yeah.
So does it say what the style is on this?
Yeah, on the front.
Strong dark ale.
Strong dark ale
It's-
with an English.
It's also,
Pour gently.
I'm getting a slight,
Ashiness?
I was going to say smokiness.
Yeah.
But not like a smoked beer.
You know it's.
Did you get enough in the glass?
There's more left in
here.
here,
Oh,
too.
okay, that's crazy.
Smoked porter is what it smelled like to me. It smelled like a smoked porter.
I get like a candied Belgian style beer with the.
Let me read this little descriptor here, see if we can go off of
It's
it.
diacetyl. That's what it is.
It's fucking buttered popcorn.
Tynt Meadow is mahogany colored with a subtle warm red hue and
it
a lasting
boxwood?
beige head.
Cat pee.
Its aroma carries hints of dark chocolate, licorice, and rich fruit flavors. The beer is
the fruit.
full-bodied, gently balancing the taste of dark chocolate, pepper, and fig. It leaves a warm and dry finish on the palate. I can see the like dark chocolate that gives you that ashiness, like I'm talking about, where
Sure.
it almost dries your mouth out.
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
eat that.
It was sweet at first.
Yeah, it's not
After, and even as before you were reading that, the other two sips I took of it, I'm like, okay, it's actually not sweet.
Yeah, but I think that's just coming off that dry. That
Yeah.
last one that was so dry.
Well, and I think
and-
all the other ones, depending on where we start, it
Yeah.
might come off sweet in the beginning. At first, honestly, I didn't really care for this. My first impression, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. But now, excuse me, I'm really burping tonight.
It's all that bottle conditioning.
I think so. It's still fermenting in my belly.
tonight's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I can't
First
wait.
time drinking in over a month.
I gotta do some cleaning tomorrow, and then we gotta go out for my birthday tomorrow.
I gotta take my kid to soccer tomorrow.
This
Oh, yeah,
is
sign Benjamin up for soccer again.
Yeah, skipped it this year or this such season.
what are you doing, man?
You didn't want to do it.
Okay, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. I get the dark fruit, fig, not like rich dark fruit. Like some of those deep dark fruits you'd get like in maybe a quad or a barley wine, like almost like prunish. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Or raisiny.
Yep.
This is more. It's lighter. It's subtle.
So, let me just say, it reminds me of like when people use like leather to describe like a wine.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting like that kind of essence on it.
Yeah. Sweaty, dirty leather. Yeah.
Cowboy was on his all day.
Yeah.
No, I see what you're saying. There is like, it's so weird
Horse
because
saddle.
there is some red wines that do put off that like, you smell like fresh leather or just leather. Like, you can almost taste it. It does come off like that. It also at first I thought there was also kind of that like herbal tea type taste that I get sometimes in beers, but not too much. There's a little bit of tea in there. Overall, not undelicious. I don't know if I'm.
It's a fucking descriptor.
Yeah. I don't know if I love it. You know what I mean? Like it's a unique Belgian beer to me.
It's not Belgian.
I'm sorry, a unique Trappist.
Yeah. That's why I was kind of grabbing it because it was like it's different than
Yeah.
the traditional Trappist, just to show
The
showcase.
chocolate, there is that like. I feel like that I get, like you said, like the ashiness, but also maybe chocolate even like in bitterness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of along the same lines.
Yeah. And one of the qualifiers of a Trappist beer is that they use the proceeds to fund the monastery, and then like whatever proceeds they have beyond that, they're supposed to donate to like charities. And so thinking of that, I would think that every Trappist monastery is going to be trying to brew beers that the locals are going to want, because that's like probably their primary
Audience.
Yeah. Is that Rashida Jones?
Stop watching. The audience doesn't know that the Chappelle show is on. It's very unprofessional. Okay, don't worry about it.
So just kind of to your point about the whole playing with, and I think that was like the whole thing with West Vleteren. Is that how? I think that's how it's. The big one is West Vleteren 12. R.I.P. to that bottle that I broke last year.
So sad.
Yeah. That whole
You broke it before drinking it?
Well, I had 4 of them. I drank 3 of them.
I've never tried it.
I've had it twice.
Humble brag.
Probably both with me.
Not humble, and yes.
That beer typically never leaves Belgium, and you have to go to the monastery to get it. And they only brew a certain amount of it, certain times of the year. But they did a special release where they went worldwide, and the U.S. got a good allotment of it. And the only reason they did that was because they needed to fix their roof. So all of that funding, everything that they sold, just went back to fix their roof, which is
awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
I think I read that, and I mentioned that the monks either have to brew or oversee. Mm-hmm. I think that Westmalle might be one of the only Belgian ones that the monks actually are the brewers. Yeah. If I remember what I read.
They bathe in the beer.
I would.
While it's fermenting.
Gross.
So you get those natural flavors.
Sorry, random mouthful of peanuts. Dan?
Yes.
I wish I edited this fucking show. So many changing his words.
Dan, how many monks do you give him this one?
I don't like it as much as the first one, but I do like it, so I'm going to go 4.
Ooh, I like that. Brandon?
I'm like 3.8, 3.9.
Yeah, I think I'm about 3.6, 3.7-ish. And that's a realistic thing. And I'm not because it's a bad beer. It's just not something I personally. I think it's a good beer. I think it's a pretty good beer, pretty darn good beer, and I think a lot of people out there like it. I'm sure, and a lot of other people that we know will probably like it. I'm sure Clark might like it, but Clark's not here, so we won't know.
Hey guys, it's Clark.
Oh shit, it's Clark. Hey Clark, what's going on?
Yeah, this beer sucks.
Oh, I was wrong.
See you later.
Bye, Clark. Good to see you.
I'm gonna go back to not having COVID but being sick.
He's just not here. All right, that's 2 down.
I thought he was sick.
Yeah, well, he's got a stomach bug. He's not COVID.
No. That's what I said. Not having COVID but being sick.
He's got poo-poos probably. With that being said, let's take a quick break, and we got 2 more to come back to. Hey guys, it's good to be back with you guys here. You know that?
Hey.
Fucking Fonz? No, what's going on here? And we're back!
First one for 2023. We're back. It's our Trappist Ale episode. And we're here back together again.
Back in the
sitting around
Like peas and carrots.
eating snacks.
Yes. We're eating peanuts, but not the same peanuts.
Right.
Boiled peanuts.
Boiled peanuts and just regular salted peanuts. Roasted and salted peanuts. And this episode is brought to you by Signature Select Peanuts. Signature Select. Find us at Jewel.
Wait, which one did we... Oh, okay.
The
Got it.
6.
Yes. This is... Okay.
Ooh.
This is what I'm talking about.
So this is... Do you want to introduce it?
Oh, go ahead.
Rochefort 6. And it is the red cap brown beer that they have on here. 7.5%
Called me in high
ABV.
school. Hey, red cap brown beer, what's up? I was always drinking milds.
So this says it's brewed only about once per year, representing approximately 1% of the total beer production. This is on Untappd, so who knows how true this is. This gives the Play-Doh and all that jazz. This is the oldest Rochefort Trappist beer and was brewed empirically until the end of the Second World War. Until 1958, this was the only Rochefort beer that was bottled in both 33cc bottles and 75cc bottles.
Ooh, interesting.
Hmm.
What does CC stand for?
The plot of land that it came from.
CC?
The sixth plot of land.
But this definitely has like that Belgian
Way to skirt the question.
No, I'm looking it up. I'm continuing
Fucking
while I
miss
look it up.
Clark so much sometimes.
CC is an abbreviation for cubic centimeter.
The old metric system. You know what I mean? One day America will get there. One day. So I don't know if you guys heard my reaction in the beginning before you started reading the descriptor of this beer.
I found the answer. So Rochefort 6 is named after its original gravity measured in Belgian degrees.
Ooh, hey.
And it's a brewing scale that's no longer used today.
So I'm assuming the 6, 8, and 10 are all part of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 10 is a little... but
the other
converted over to... Yep.
The other thing I was reading is that like a lot of the Trappist breweries, like they don't label their stuff single, double, triple. Like it's kind of like us.
They just make it.
That. We try to put them in a box.
Don't box them. Don't put them in a box. But it helps me remember which beers I actually really like. And I will say this. This is probably, as soon as I took a sip, it like kind of sent me back to, we bring up Fishman's a lot, of maybe the first time that Mike, my brother-in-law, and I did exactly what you did, Brandon, which was buy all of these because I wanted to, take a trip and try all the different, 6, 8, 10. And I remember drinking this and really liking it. Like, this to me is the perfect type of Trappist, like Belgian beer for me. For me specifically. It's not dry.
No,
not by any means. It's almost like, and it's not like sweet or anything. But
no,
it's like there's a sweetness
you're
to
saying.
it.
So I will challenge you on the. It's not dry. It is dry. I can definitely tell that it's dry.
Okay, yes,
but that sweetness
is what you're saying before.
It gives it that juice.
Yeah, it's what you were saying before.
Yeah,
there's also like a caramel butterscotch candy flavor to this for me. Do you guys get that at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like if Werther's Original was a beer, this would be it. No, I don't really mean that.
It's so funny that you said that. Becca, in her alter ego of being a grandma, always buys Werther's Originals and keeps them in her purse.
That's awesome because it's a delicious candy.
And then we're driving in the car with Benjamin and she's sneaking them and eating. Anyways, so she had coffee one. She bought coffee.
Those
Werther's.
are good.
I was having some the other day, and I was I literally thought, what if we put these into a beer?
You just put your hand in them, Dan.
Just melt them into a mash? That would be so good.
That would be good. Sorry, I was distracted by
or in
Dan
the boil.
I don't know. That'd be interesting. I mean,
or melt them down and then put them in after the boil, ferment them.
Well, we learned something from a brewery that uses candy, which I don't know if it's on the episode, so I'm not going to say it. They melt pounds of candy with hot water, and I think they add it to...
Oh, was that the short fuse?
Okay, well, you can say it, yeah. I forgot
think it's
when
a secret.
No, I know.
It's in the name, right?
No, they don't call it fucking Sour Patch Kids beer.
They call it Berry White.
Oh, that one. Berry White, yeah.
But
it's not called Gummy Bear.
It's got a gummy bear on the damn label.
I don't know. We're not really saying Gummy Beer. Yeah?
Did we ever ask, do they blend that?
That's what I remember. It's on the episode, I'm sure. But yeah, we should try something like that.
Yeah.
What is a Twizzler beer, huh? Sounds awful.
As long as it's not
what do you guys think?
As long as it's not black
it's the worst. Dan, what are you taking? Oh, you already finished yours, but
yeah, I did.
Getting down to business tonight. It's Friday night.
Eating peanuts and drinking beer.
I had a long week of lawyer and I gotta get wrecked.
Eating peanuts and drinking beer.
Thought maybe I heard something else.
Oh, this is so it has that Belgian candied sugar taste to it to me.
I get butterscotch, yeah.
I don't get the butterscotch. I mean, I see where you're going with that,
but I don't mean an off flavor either. I'm not oh fuck, it's I'm eating butterscotch candy.
Yeah. I don't.
Becca, but
I don't enjoy the perceived sweetness on this one as much as the other ones. It's not as easy to drink.
No, not at all.
This is a sipper.
This is a one and done.
Yeah.
I'm glad where we're at with this. I could split that small bottle with another person and really enjoy it. If
it's good and well done.
Absolutely.
It's just not like what I would normally go for.
Sure.
Unless I was like sitting by a fire on a cold night.
Oh, like
in the
maybe,
backyard.
Like maybe in the winter.
In the winter.
I like it. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, what are your takes on this?
I would enjoy this sitting by a fire in a cold winter night.
Oh, really?
No.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not. So I'm getting like the candy stuff, and it's borderline like that butterscotch to me.
And when I say butterscotch, I don't mean like buttery.
No.
Diacetyl or
No.
A weird
like,
off flavor.
Like more of like the actual like sweet candiness of that. The carbonation on this one I think better than most of the other ones. Although the blonde I think was pretty nice. Maybe and now I'm thinking about this in my head. I think the way they're carbonated it actually is complementing the beers really well. So like, yeah, I think drinkability and aroma and it's nailing all of the things again like that I like in Trappist beers. It's lighter. This goes up like kind of with the blonde with me. Like this is one I couldn't drink repeatedly, but this is one that I would enjoy consistently. Like sharing like and this is a small bottle, but like this pour I feel like is like a good amount.
Absolutely, yeah. And whereas the blonde I could drink the entire thing.
Yeah.
To myself. By myself.
But yeah,
only
anyone pulled this out
around.
any time of the day, I would definitely share this with somebody.
Sorry, what would you say?
If somebody pulled this out any time of the day.
Okay. I thought I misunderstood, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many monks would you give this, Dan?
3.7. 3.8.
3.8.
3.8, maybe 3.9.
All right. We'll go between that. Brandon? How many
I'm
monks?
about 3.75, 3.8 on this.
Right on. I'm going to go 4.3 for me, specifically. This is in my wheelhouse. I like this. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm going to change that.
Oh, shit.
So, I'm closer probably to like 4. Because, and I'm just thinking in my head, I do kind of like this one a little bit more than the last one, so I'm going to put it just slightly ahead.
Yeah, I definitely do like it more than the last one. Again, just that's preference. It's not a
Personal
bad beer.
preference. It's okay.
Dan, crack open the 4th beer.
Oh,
which could be our final. I don't know what's going on. We'll see.
Dun, dun, dun.
This was another one that you picked up, Brandon.
Dun, dun.
Bum, 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 bum. Did you guys like all my subtle penis jokes that I've been making this half of the episode? Oh, that's I'm asking the audience, and I wanted them to respond to me. Like,
let us know in the comments section.
No, I heard them if they said it out loud. I just,
Ooh.
Just subtle jokes, you know what I mean?
So this is the Westmalle Trappist Tripel. Coming in at 9.5% alcohol.
Holy macaroni!
Was first brewed in 1934, and the recipe has not changed since 1956. Whoa. Pale candy sugar and has a very pale color produced from a mash of light Pilsner malts.
Ooh.
Steering Golding hops are used along with some German varieties and the classic Saaz Pilsner hop. After a long secondary fermentation, the Triple Westmalle is bottled with a dose of sugar and yeast. This beer holds up well in the bottle over time and seems to soften with age.
Just like a man.
I was going to say just like Tony, but I didn't want to.
Hey!
He's not wrong. I am becoming quite the soft.
Is that a
man.
fat joke?
No, that's what I thought he meant, right? I put on a lot of weight, guys. I gotta stop doing this show. What do you guys think of this? Brandon, specifically you first. Sorry, Dan, no offense, but this guy's the triple guy.
The first thing I noticed was the color. I do think that, like, look over there, like, that was my triple. It's significantly darker.
And I think it's the candy, the specific candy sugar that you're using. Like, it is darker than most triples.
Sugar.
But
Pale candy sugar.
Yeah, I think that's, which you'll get the same effect as far as the sugar. I think you just need to adjust that. But the color doesn't bother me. For
No.
It's delicious.
No, and I'm in my head, I'm comparing it to mine too. The carbonation is definitely a little higher. I'm getting more of that, like, seltzer bubbly type stuff. But I feel like it makes a lot of the things in the beer pop a little better.
Yep.
I'm tempted to turn up the carbonation on mine a little bit, see where that goes. But it's got everything that I like. You know, we've talked about triples, pretty much every year since we started brewing them. But yeah, this has got like a lot of really good stuff. And it's weird that this is like an authentic Trappist one, and I smell it, and I'm like, mine doesn't smell much different. Like, it tasted like it doesn't taste much different. Like, so I think I did okay.
You done good, kid.
I like it.
Dan?
I was just taking a big old gulp.
That's why I called on you.
I really like this one too. It has the I got a ring notification. Sorry, it has the
Yikes.
the Belgian yeast
There's a
character.
murderer at your door.
It has the
Gotta go.
Belgian yeast character, but it's not over. I mean, I felt like the last one was a little overpowering in the Rochefort. This one I like though, and I don't know if it's like
Did we specifically
color?
say the name of what we were?
yeah,
making sure.
Westmalle Tripel. Yeah, no, that's not that's the Rochefort. Sorry,
He's got it over there.
Tony's got it.
Oh, it's not dregs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into a rating yet, but I do like this
sorry.
one more
That's okay.
in terms of like the way the yeast comes through.
Yeah, first off, this and the Blonde are probably my favorite beers of the night.
This is a little fruitier than the
Oh,
last
there is
one
yeast
too,
at the bottom.
in a
Oh,
good
nice.
way.
We should
cultivate
I
it.
was gonna say we should really start thinking about cultivating yeast, especially from Belgian beers.
I really wish I could do that.
You can. It's easy. We'll talk about it off mic. This is really tasty. It's really nice. The aroma on it when I first smelled it after the pour, is actually kind of like a. Ooh, excuse me, guys. All this carbonation I feel like is.
Yeah.
It's coming up. Sorry, guys. Everybody listening. It was almost off-putting at first. It smelled kind of like skunky beer, but it's also that's a noble hop type deal, like that you find in a lot of lagers and everything. So I had to look past that. And then Brandon, you had mentioned, the way your triple smells, and I went back in and I'm like, okay, it does smell like that as well.
And this was bottled in June of 2022,
Oh, nice.
so it's fairly new.
There's a nice fruitiness to it. Everything about this beer is what I really like about a Belgian triple. And the only difference, Brandon, that I see from your triple, and if I'm just making a comparison, your triple and this triple, and it's the same thing I've said all night, is that little hop bite in the back. I don't get that from this at all. I'm wondering if your first wort hop needs to happen.
If it needs to happen, or
Yeah, that's because that's pulling out a lot of bitterness from the hops. Mm-hmm. I wonder if you avoided that and hopped it because you're getting. It seems like your hop utilization is very done very well. Mm-hmm. Like you're extracting a lot of bitterness from the hops. I wonder if you just stepped it back just a little bit, like a small amount, like not a whole lot. And this is just personal preference.
Yeah.
Like, if you like it the way it is, don't change it. But I'm just saying, like my own opinion on it. That's the only thing that I would change.
Okay.
Otherwise, these two beers, other than the color and that little bit of hopness, like you've done a very good job on your beer. Because I
I do a
really
side
like
by
this
side?
beer, and it's very.
Could I have a little bit side by side?
It's very similar to me. The two beers.
I do want to say you had mentioned that this and the Blonde might be your favorite so far. This does taste like a more syrupy, like pumped up version.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not as. It's still refreshing, but it's sweeter.
Yeah. And
It's not.
It's thicker.
Yeah.
It's syrupy. It's like you couldn't drink this as quick as the Blonde, but it's like the Blonde on steroids.
Yeah, I like that. I like the comparison. I would. Yeah, those two are delicious. Like those two beers. Sorry, there's also a Chappelle thing on that's really funny about this guy going off and whatever. All right, side by side. Here we go. Aroma. Brandon, yours is a little breadier,
Yeah.
which I like more than the smell of the.
Oh, yeah.
All right, side by side. Here we go. Brandon's got some clove in there. I like that. Okay. Huh. It's kind of funny because now I'm getting more of the hops in the. What is it?
The Westmalle.
Yeah. But not a bitterness, but a hoppiness from it.
Yeah.
And now I'm not getting that Also, we've worked our way through some Belgian beers tonight.
One thing I will say is I feel like the mouthfeel in the Westmalle is a little lighter. Or the Westmalle, whatever it's in. To me, it seems slightly lighter. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this might sound weird, but I feel like the Westmalle is more syrupy, but also at the same time,
It's fruitier.
lighter.
Yeah.
It's like,
There's a fruitiness to the Westmalle.
and it's a little. I feel like the sweetness kind of hits me in the mid sip, a little hotter on the, or a little higher on the Westmalle. Your Brandon's has more of like a. It's almost like the sweetness is more of like and the fruitiness is more dark fruit sweetness to me.
Brandon's?
Yeah.
I think it's the colored candy sugar that you use.
Yeah.
Which again doesn't bother me. It's funny as you get, down lower.
Yeah.
You can see just the slight difference. It's funny because like
Good lacing on the glass, though.
absolutely having them side by side, there are differences.
Yes.
But it just tastes like I'm drinking a different triple from another brewery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there isn't like, well, you can really there's nothing wrong with your beer. It's a preference of a triple. It's fantastic, man. Good job being able to go side by side with having this beer. Let's blend them, right? Let's blend all these beers into one.
Mine are all gone. Toe to toe.
Settle down, Dan.
They're blending in my stomach.
Very good. So now that we did that, what do you guys? How many monks are we giving it? Not Brandon's. Brandon's is 5 monks in my book, as usual.
I'm like 4.25.
Dan?
So I gave the Blond a 4.5. This one's gonna be like a 4.25, 4.3. It's like just below.
I'm there with you guys. The same thing. Like 4.25, 4.3, maybe 4.35. I don't know. But it's very good.
Hey-o.
This, the Blonde's my favorite. This would be my second favorite of the night. What do we do?
Rochefort
Six.
is 3.
6 is 3, and Tynt Meadows is 4.
For me, I'd flip the Rochefort and the English one for me.
Okay, cool.
Well,
It's different, yeah.
What about you, Brandon?
I'm actually same exact boat. I have a list. I was writing out which ones I liked in order.
The same as me, or
Same as you. Yeah.
That's right. Damn right. We win. Clark, what do you think?
It's not from Rev or Hazy.
Wow, that seemed like
Is this Deep Woods?
okay. That seems like a dig. Which if you're not here, you can't defend yourself, right? Come back, Clark. This was fun. This was a fun time, guys.
It's ironic that we did this in 2023, especially like my resolution last year was to drink more Belgians. I already forgot what my resolution for this year was. I have to go back and listen to the Maltese again.
I think we said something about brewing.
I think possibly.
This does
Every other month?
fit.
Every day.
Every quarter.
This fits in my
One down.
New Year's resolution, which was to drink more like
Shut up and drink.
Belgian.
It wasn't it export.
Yeah, like foreign
yeah.
beers. So
Mine
We'll
was.
get you some Guinness Foreign Extra Stout.
I think mine was just brewing a little bit more.
yeah, which you've
which
already
I've
done.
done once
You've
now.
brewed more this year than you did all last year.
No, he brewed once.
last year. And then I threw away my.
He also forgot about it for a very long time.
Try not to do that this weekend, I gotta keg it. I'm gonna try and brew one more time.
Well, at least you won't throw out a tilt.
$100, literally in the drain. All right, guys. Well, good to be back together with you guys. I really like it.
Fun times. Fun times.
I miss you. There was a little bit of like, I was actually kind of like worried and hesitant coming to record tonight, just because I was like, do we still have it? Do we still have that chemistry? Will we be able to still pull it off? I know Brandon and I do, but I was wondering, like Dan, you being here.
It's been a while.
Oh, shit,
I gotta
Dan's
say,
here.
feels what's that?
I said, oh shit, Dan's here.
Yeah, Dan's been here the whole time. He's the one eating your boiled peanuts.
Nice.
Sorry.
I said nice.
But I will say, good, real first episode. And we got a lot going on this year, which I don't think Brandon, you know about stuff. I don't think Dan knows about stuff. But there are some things happening. So this year is also shaping up to be pretty fun. So, Clark, get your butt back here. Dan, thanks, man. Thanks for being around again.
Thank you for having me again.
We didn't have here. There's that peanuts. stuck in my... like your dry cough, you were warning us. Same deal. You're always invited.
Thank you.
Anytime. Brandon?
No, it was good. It was good. I
sorry, I guess
dug digging into some beers I normally maybe wouldn't reach for.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Brandon? Oh, I punched the microphone. I don't know if I'm doing it after the Final Four. I love you, man.
Love you too, bud.
And we'll see you guys next week. Probably.
Bye.
Right?
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.